to tell you something. I know someone who came back to Cameroon after more than 20 years. The person has a father who is from the center region and a mother. No, the father is from the west region and the mother is from the center region. And when the time came to appoint someone, one of the top people at one of Cameroon's university.
Yeah.
And the reason that was used by the civil cabinet to stop that appointment was that the person was not, pure enough, did not have a pure blood, because for them, they see being, originating from the south or the center as having pure blood. These are the people leading Cameroon.
Did you hear that? For those who come from La République du Cameroon that are married to someone from the United Kingdoms of Tikar, this is time for you to be an upright human being. We will build this nation using frameworks. Because one of your parents come from the west region and the other from the central region, you don't have pure blood. That is Cameroon. Corruption. So if it's up to La République du Cameroon, someone like Barack Obama, the father is from Kenya, mother from the United States, he should have never had the opportunity to be a president of the United States of America. If you are married to someone in the United Kingdoms of Tikar and you are from La République du Cameroon, this is time for you to be an upright human being. I think justice is overrated. We are talking about truth. We migrated from Sudan to the Adamawas, to Bambafia, to the Bamenda Highlands. Settled there, established a civilization until 1472. That is our story. Look at the culture of those in the United Kingdoms of Tikar and those in La République du Cameroon. Are they the same? The answer is no. They will deny you a position, even in the Francophone zone, if one of your parents come from the West region. Our cultures are not the same. Our leadership styles are different. Our history is different. Not the history of the colonial master, because many go around with this narrative of German Cameroon. We are one. In what aspect? This is time for you to face the truth. We've made it clear. If one of your parents come from the United Kingdoms of Tikar, you are Tikar. This is my story. I grew up with the notion of one Cameroon like everyone else. I never fully understood the Southern Cameroon's story until now. In 2016, the Anglophone crisis started, which led to the Ambazonian war, which has led to thousands of our people losing their lives. A relative of mine was kidnapped by Amba fighters. They were demanding for ransom. We got engaged with the young men. I heard their cry. They wanted jobs. They wanted opportunities in this country. My relatives stayed in their custody for more than a month. During that time period, they were collecting money from us on a regular. When my relative finally escaped from that camp, I did not get bitter. I was looking for a solution to this problem, since they said they wanted jobs. I came up with an organization, CSDP, the Cameroon Sustainable Development Project. The idea was that the public and the private sector can partner and push this nation forward through a 20 years economic plan. And I wrote the book, The Cameroon Dream, to give hope to the people in this nation so that they can go on to have successful lives. The CSDP initiative was all about capacity building to help empower young Cameroonians with the capacity to go start businesses. During that project, I interacted even with top officials, ministers in this country, while having sessions with the young people simultaneously. We brought some experts from America to speak and train and pour into the young people so they can have hope and build better lives. 85% of the people who showed up for that project were from the Northwest. This got me thinking. Are these the only group of people in this country that desire change? Also, I realized the incompatibility that you can never put the people together and have them do something as one. I started asking questions. Where did we come from together in this country called Cameroon? That is what got me into research. And then I said to myself, don't just ignore the Ambazonian leaders. Look into that story. My people, you've listened to what that brother said. Your father comes from the West region, or your mother comes from the West region. And your father comes from the Central region. They look at you as someone that doesn't have pure blood. That is Cameroon for you. If you desire that we stay in a system like this, you are a wicked person. And if you are married to a man or a woman that wants to continue with this La Republique narrative, they are not good for you. Our story is very clear. Through my research, I began to realize who we are as Tikar people, why we see the world the way we see it. In my research process, I asked some very important existential questions because I understand how a nation is created and why it works. America works because the 13 colonies came together, wrote a constitution on the kind of nation they want to create. That is not our story. Now, one thing I want you to pay attention to is there is a difference between German colony and a UN trust territory. German colony is not a country. This was Europeans stitching different kingdoms and civilizations to extract raw materials in Africa. Some people still believe that was a country. So during my research project, I began to realize a story about us that has been buried for centuries. That we migrated from Sudan to the Adamawas, to Bambafia, to the Bamenda Highlands, to establish a civilization. If you take a close look at the leadership structure in the Northwest, it is unique compared to other regions around Cameroon. Have you asked why? Our history, is different, culture is different, belief systems different. We don't see the world the same. This is hundreds of years of history that is not identical to most regions in Cameroon. We were stitched in here by the Europeans. Now, after the end of the First World War, that marked the end of the German reign in this area called Cameroon with K. Remember, that name Cameroon was given to us by the Portuguese. The Douala people are the real Cameroonians. It means crayfish, Rio dos Cameros. We still go around with that on our ID cards, on our passports, on our birth certificates, that we are crayfish till today. Burkina Faso changed theirs. It was Upper Volta. They had to change it to a name that reflects them. Some tell me that I'm not enlightened enough to teach others. Brother, you are a very arrogant human being. This is time for us to set aside all that politeness and do not ever confuse restraint for being foolish. We are calm, polite, hospitable. That is true. But that doesn't mean we are foolish. All these years, we have been tolerating your ignorance with the hope that you get to your senses. And some of you hold guns. So we restrain ourselves. That doesn't mean we are foolish, and that doesn't mean we agree to your behavior around here. Let me put this out, because in as much as we talk about Mpia's government, this is a mindset most Francophones have, that they are superior and we Anglophones are inferior. I don't know what metrics you used to elevate yourself to that standard. America, for instance, speaks English. Superpower. Comparing America with France is insanity. Even comparing Britain to France is insanity. In Africa, the top nations that are making waves is Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya. Until recent, that we are hearing of Burkina Faso, there is no French nation or French-speaking nation in Africa that can be measured to Nigeria, Ghana, or Kenya. So by what metrics did you use to elevate yourself to that standard? That is why I'm confused why Anglophones will subject themselves under a people that you are supposed to be teaching and guiding and instructing. You look at size, because they got their independence in 1960 and you got yours in 1961. Aijo left from Tiri, a radio operator, to leading a country. These are the people we subject ourselves under. Some go around saying Paul Biya is wise. Again, never ever confuse restraint for being ignorant or being foolish. After Germany was kicked out of Cameroon, under the League of Nations, Britain and France partitioned Cameroon. The Northwest and the Southwest was carved out to facilitate the British administration of Nigeria, while La République du Cameroun was administered by France. In 1960, La République du Cameroun gained their independence. In 1961, the UN conducted a plebiscite, because some hear that today and they think La République du Cameroun and the UN conducted a plebiscite. No, the UN conducted a plebiscite. And we were asked if we choose to gain independence by joining the Federal Republic of Nigeria or La République du Cameroon. We voted to join La République du Cameroon. Voting is not equal to joining. It's an interest in joining. Just like Cameroonians voted Issa Chiroma Bakari to be president. Issa Chiroma Bakari did not become president. So voting is not equal to joining. The UN issued a document called the Resolution 1608. In that document, the UN acknowledged the results of the plebiscite. In that same document, they said we should go on and ratify a union treaty based on the federal structure, which is the foundation of that plebiscite. Foncha, who was leading the Southern Cameroons, said, I ran around trying to get Aijo to ratify that union treaty to no avail. Aijo, a Form 3 dropout, a radio operator, used a draft constitution to ratify a union. Almighty Germany, when they were reuniting, ratified a union treaty. La République du Cameroon did not. That is why I wonder why English-speaking people in this place called Cameroon will subject themselves under a people they are supposed to be teaching and guiding for the betterment of the nation. It's a disgrace to see what is happening with Atangan Chipo. Till today, we have scanned the UN archives. There is no union treaty binding us with La République du Cameroon. Do you understand? So legally, we are not citizens of La République du Cameroon. There is a distinction between German colony and a UN trust territory. Case in point, when we come to America or to Western nations, you go to a store, buy something. The first thing you're told is keep your receipt in case you need to return that item. In case that item is not performing the way you want it, you can be able to use that receipt to return that item. We know these things. Without that receipt, you won't get a refund. Without that receipt, you can't return that item. We don't have any receipt binding us with La République du Cameroon. So there is no ratified union treaty between Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroon. We don't need the UN. We don't need international community for this. This is something for us to understand. La République, redeploy your troops out of our land so we can establish a functioning nation that reflects the totality of our existence. Because that is the vision. To build the first world nation here in Africa. And we can never do that with a people that think this way. That someone comes from the West region, the parents come from La République du Cameroon. Just the fact that one comes from the West region, you say they don't have a pure blood. And this is what you come under my comment to write. My people, are we independent or not? This is an independent thinker. This is what independence look like. You see it and you don't understand what I'm doing here. This is how people who are really, truly independent think. And this brother is one of them. He thinks that way. I hope he has good ideas to help La République du Cameroon, but I see his energy, that is good. Some of you will ask the question, who are you? He's from Yaoundé. So you believe him now because he's from Yaoundé. He's from the Francophone zone. Do not join their fight, my people. Let them fight. and defend their nation. You can't call someone from Equatorial Guinea and have them join this fight. You can't call someone from Nigeria and have them join this fight. The fact that we have passports, birth certificate, ID cards that is written on it Cameroon doesn't make you a Cameroonian. This is an issue of legitimacy. Because the next thing is they might get us mixed into this and then say, oh, we want to partition the country, the Northeast want to go their way and all of that. Now they mix up everything and our cause gets diluted in the process. We are a sovereign people, a UN trust territory under the United Nations. This is the time for us to show maturity, that we can at least follow the law. And no, in the Francophone zone, the law doesn't mean anything. You will break it, you will bend it. No, we have to follow the law. Like we go abroad and they tell you, stand on the line. When you come, wait for your turn. Some people come, they want to cut the line. And we do that back home. You know you can't do that here. And then you come here and say, oh no, it's in Cameroon, so it's different. You are corrupt. And it was worthless traveling out of the country. Just stay in Cameroon. If you come here, see what is working, go back home and say it's Cameroon, you are a very, very terrible human being. People will wake up, come, wait in line so they can be served because they have other things to do with their day. And then you wake up, show up late, and then want to cut the line because your father has this last name. We will build a country free of that. And those who are married to someone from the United Kingdoms of Tikar, if you want a country where your children will have equal opportunities like everyone else, then it is time for you to part ways with La République du Cameroon. During the American War of Independence, even parents had to part ways with their children because of their views, because of their perspective. Some wanted Britain, some wanted America. In the same household, they had to part ways. In Egypt, there were Egyptians that had to leave the tyranny in Egypt and follow the Israelites out of Egypt. It's time for you to make that decision. There's no ratified union treaty. Voting is not equal to joining. Now, I want you to take a listen to what Atanganji Paul looks like, and many Anglophones that want to walk in that system. Subconsciously, they are hoping that linking us with La République du Cameroon will earn them a position. I want you to bear this in mind. We will use reason, we will use logic, we will use morality, we will use truth, not guns, to navigate our current circumstance. We will use frameworks. And the first framework is conflict resolution. So within that framework is 4 categories. Number 1 is we will assume that the individual is ignorant. So they need information. So we will assume they are uninformed about the history of this country. After we present the facts, if the individual is passive, we will assume they are cowards. Now, if the individual is active, that means they are compromising. So active means they want us to go with the flow. They are emotional. They are not practical. They are not logical. They are not truthful. So we will assume they are compromising. After you receive information, that means you're not ignorant about the history of this country. That places a certain degree of responsibility in your hands. Now, being passive makes you a coward. That is, you understand the truth, you won't speak up for the truth. That makes you a coward. Being active indicates you are enforcing this relationship even after understanding the truth that there is no ratified union treaty between the Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroon. That indicates you are compromising. So when you compromise, that means you know the truth, but you choose to enforce falsehood. You choose to be corrupt. You choose to be emotional. Oh, I'm married to someone from the United Kingdoms of Tikar. So because of that, let's continue with this relationship. Let everyone here perish because of your love life. Let your children be pushed into a system where they will never have opportunities that they deserve. Compromise. Now, that will lead to justification, and they'll give all sorts of reasons. Oh, we have been like this. Learned acceptance. We have learned to accept that we are Cameroonians, when legally we are not Cameroonians by law. And hence, why the leaders would treat people this way. The victims are Cameroonians and us, because we are attached through this learned acceptance. So after this video, if someone still goes around and say someone from Southern Cameroons is a Cameroonian, that is deliberate ignorance. And there is some certain level of accountability and responsibility in the hands of that individual based on what they do or not do.
South or the center as having pure blood. These are the people leading Cameroon as we speak.
You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds.
Now let's listen to how the history of slavery and slave trade is still manifesting in our behavior today. Cameroon has a lot of ignorant people, cowards, and individuals who compromise. I told you there is a high demand for mediocrity here. That is why we have these leaders in authority. Atangan Jipo and the rest, this is time to repent. Your story won't end well. Leave that system. Let's take a listen.
And the Negroes, there was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?"
That is a classic example of Atanganjipo and the Anglophones in that system who are not Cameroonians. Because today you get to realize if someone is 100% La République, yet is despised because one of their parents comes from the West region, with your right senses, you want us to remain here even when we don't have a legal union treaty binding us with this country. I want you to step back and see how evil you are thinking that way.
The master's house caught a fire. He'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was the house Negro. But then you had some field Negroes who lived in huts, had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kind of clothes, they ate the worst food, and they caught hell. They felt the sting of the lash. They hated their master. Oh, yes, they did. If the master got sick, they prayed that the master died.
So the field Negro, that is us. If the master was sick, the field Negro prays that the master dies. The house Negro, when the master is sick, it's like, master, are we sick? After this, I want you to take this video, share it with your friends, all the black leg groups, encourage them to go watch the full interview on Chris Anu's channel, and then you ask them a series of questions. This is the group of people you're part of to destroy your own people. Because no matter what the Amba fighters have done, it doesn't come close to what that government has done. That is the continuation of Ayijo's machine. More than 300,000 Bamileke people were killed during the UPC era. It continued through Paul Biya in 1984 when the coup was staged in Cameroon and the punishment the Northeast received. Now the Anglophone crisis till date. And we are not legally citizens of La Republic of Cameroon by law. Go scan the UN archives and show me, what do you think, or what persuaded you to believe that those in the southern Cameroons are Cameroonians? We have to follow law if we will ever be a civilized nation. This is the first time in our history that we observe the law and not break every law for convenience, for comfort, for falsehood. Proof. I want you to show me what makes me a Cameroonian legally. You can travel to America, Europe. There is nothing that will make you an American just because you are here. Just because you are here or you have a driver's license. We know these things. We have traveled around the world. We should help solve some of these problems. But I see individuals in our own community come around, still come around and have these trivial conversations. And we want to be a first world country. We want to be successful. No, only poverty, only manipulation. We will only have firefighters show up as presidents in Cameroon. That's all we have. Firefighters. People that will come and tell you, oh, we want to hold the peace, we want to unite. Let's listen to this. There's a lot for you to learn in this video.
If the master's house caught a fire, they prayed for a strong wind to come along. This was the difference between the two. And today you still have house Negroes and field Negroes. I'm a field Negro.
He said, till today, we still have house Negroes and field Negroes. I want you to ask yourself and answer that question. Who are you? A house Negro or a field Negro? Now let's listen to Foncha, our leader, say it out of his own mouth. Our relationship with La Republique du Cameroon as it stands. I told you their trick. When they watch a video that hits them so hard, they run away. They go to the next video or wait for the next video that I upload. Then they come and type all of this trivia comments. I want you to write that same comment that you wrote under this video. As a father, sometimes you talk, you try to guide children. If you've been on this platform for even a year, it is very, very stupid to write things like this. When you try to guide a child, they don't hear. The next thing you push them a little bit, shout a little bit. The next thing you whoop them so that they can get their act together so the entire house doesn't go down. Anyone that is deliberately ignorant, no, put them to their place.
The Prime Minister of Southern Cameroon, we were dealing only with an interim federal government when he did not answer me in September. I reminded him, but unfortunately on 1st of October I used the draft to declare federation and unification, which did not finish.
He used the draft constitution to declare federation and unification. When we hear things like this coming out of our own leaders, I should brush this on the side and think about your wife that you're married to from the Tikar, and you come up with some stories that we are all one. When you know we don't see the world the same, we don't have the same history, same culture, leadership style, we don't share anything in common. Even language. How many percent of people in that country can communicate and understand each other? You encouraging this, my brother, check your heart. Check your heart.
And cadre of the KNDP and try to scatter all and made some other laws, which would make him the supreme president.
That is why the whole country is the way it is. Imagine, that is what he did. That is the foundation of this country. That is the foundation of Cameroon. Amadou Ahidjo has the equivalent of Form 3 education. Became a radio operator, joined politics, and laid the foundation to where we find ourselves today. Foncha, on the other hand, has an equivalent of Form 5 education today. Went ahead and got his teacher training license, became a teacher, joined politics, and this is where we find ourselves today. And these are the individuals. And so when we look at what they did, we can make adjustments today and build a better future. That's why I told us the best is yet to come. For us to think this is the foundation they laid, and now we go study to come manipulate each other on a faulty foundation. This is irrational by every standard.
We are